The topic of anti-Zionist Jews might seem contradictory to some people. How can it be that Jews themselves oppose the creation of the State of Israel? What drives these individuals, and what do they have in common with each other? In this video, we will explore the diversity, origins, and motivations within this often misunderstood group. Before delving into the issue of anti-Zionist Jews, it's essential to define Zionism and anti-Zionism. Zionism refers to a political movement that started in late 19th century Europe, calling for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Anti-Zionism, on the other hand, is opposed to this ideology. It is important to note that not all anti-Zionists are against the existence of Israel as a country. They may simply oppose particular governmental policies or practices that they perceive as oppressive or unjust. One of the key arguments of anti-Zionist Jews is the distinction between the following group of terms: Zionism versus Judaism and anti-Zionism versus anti-Semitism. In order to understand their point of view, we have to understand those particular dichotomies. Zionism and Judaism are often intertwined in conversations and perceived as synonymous. But this conflation is misleading. The distinctions between Zionism and Judaism are huge. Let's explore their differences and origins in order to highlight the fact that not all Jews are Zionists and vice versa. Judaism is one of the oldest monotheistic religions in the world, founded over 3,500 years ago. It is rooted in the covenant made between God and Abraham, the patriarch of the Jewish religion. As an Abrahamic faith, Judaism established key tenets such as ethical behavior, the belief in one God, and following religious laws outlined in holy texts like the Torah. Zionism, on the other hand, is a modern political movement that originated in the late 19th century. Spearheaded by Theodor Herzl, after witnessing escalating anti-Semitism in Europe, its main goal was to create a safe haven for Jews in their ancestral homeland, Israel. It sought to establish an independent Jewish state where Jews could assert their right to self-determination. While Judaism is a religious faith with theological practices and rituals at its core, Zionism is fundamentally a political movement advocating for Jewish self-determination through statehood. Not all Jewish people necessarily believe in or support Zionist ideology. Some may have different political or religious views regarding their relationship with Israel, whereas others may argue against nationalism or call for a more pluralistic approach for a multi-ethnic state. The foundation of Judaism rests upon holy scriptures like the Torah, Talmud, and Mishnah. Zionism is largely influenced by political writings and thoughts of leaders such as Herzl, David Ben-Gurion, or Chaim Weizmann. The assumption that all Jews are Zionists is misleading, as it does not account for the diversity within the Jewish community. Many Jews around the world strongly support Israel, while others actively criticize Zionist politics. Therefore, it's essential to recognize that these diverse perspectives exist within Judaism and avoid making sweeping generalizations. Having this in mind can lead to more nuanced discussions about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. While some believe these terms are synonymous, others vigorously argue that they represent entirely different stances. Let's highlight the differences between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. Anti-Zionism refers to opposition or hostility towards the political movement of Zionism. This movement seeks to establish and maintain a Jewish homeland in the historic region of Palestine. Critics of Zionism often question its impact on Palestinian self-determination, human rights, and the socio-political realities on the ground. Anti-Semitism represents prejudice, discrimination, or animosity against Jewish people due to their cultural affiliation or religious beliefs. This form of hate has been prevalent throughout history. While it is clear that anti-Semitism is rooted in hate towards Jewish people, anti-Zionism is opposition to a political ideology. Anti-Zionists oppose Zionism as a political movement, thereby criticizing its policies or methods without targeting Jewish individuals simply because they are Jewish. On the other hand, anti-Semites exhibit disdain for Jews based solely on their ethnicity or religion. Those who identify as anti-Zionists often express disapproval of Israel's policies vis-à-vis Palestinians and argue for equal rights for all citizens under Israeli rule. Meanwhile, anti-Semites are often unconcerned about human rights issues in their crusade against Jewish people. Anti-Zionism scrutinizes Israel's actions, policies, and the broader implications of Zionism. However, anti-Semitism assumes a much broader scope of hate and discrimination that targets Jews worldwide, regardless of their relation to Israel or its policies. Is it possible to be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic? Yes, it is possible to criticize Israeli government policies or question the underlying philosophy of Zionism without displaying hate or discrimination towards Jewish individuals. Anti-Zionism can be a legitimate stance, reflecting concerns about human rights and self-determination. Still, it must be expressed without scapegoating Jews as a whole. Before we continue, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell. By doing that, you are helping us a lot. We value your opinion, so make sure you drop a comment below. Also, please consider supporting us on Patreon and help us grow and maintain independent. You can find the link in the description. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to check out thesharpthinker.com. Explore a range of topics including history, religion, politics, geopolitics, and more. Now let's get back to the video. There is no single definition or category for anti-Zionist Jews, making it crucial to understand that they come from various religious, political, and social backgrounds. Some Jewish religious denominations reject Zionism on theological grounds. For example, Haredi Orthodox Jews believe that only the coming of the Messiah can result in a legitimate Jewish state. The Satmar Hasidic community is another example of a group that opposes Zionism based on their interpretation of Jewish law. Some secular Jews may identify as anti-Zionist due to their specific political ideologies. Communists and other left-wing activists might object to Zionism because they view it as imperialistic or colonialist in nature. These individuals may be concerned about Palestinian human rights and criticize Israeli policies without necessarily opposing Israel's right to exist. Their focus often involves advocating for a two-state solution or more equitable policies within Israel itself. Some Jews may identify as anti-Zionist due to their own experiences of discrimination, violence, or political disillusionment. They might feel that Zionism exacerbates divisions within the Jewish community or creates unnecessary friction with other groups. The debate surrounding anti-Zionism within the Jewish community is often characterized by strong emotions, deep convictions, and differing views on both Judaism and Zionism. Let's explore the religious arguments put forth by anti-Zionist Jews, delving into the complexities of this inner battle that has divided the Jewish community for decades. Many anti-Zionist Jews find their primary source of opposition in religious beliefs rooted in traditional Jewish texts. They argue that according to religious doctrine, the establishment of a Jewish state is reserved for the coming of the Messiah, and any attempt to create such a state beforehand is an act of rebellion against God. The Talmud is often cited by anti-Zionist rabbis as evidence for this belief. They refer to passages discussing the three oaths, a set of oaths taken by Israelites during the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem around 70 CE. One oath requires them to refrain from ascending en masse to re-establish their homeland by force, while another refrains from rebelling against non-Jewish ruling nations. According to these texts, only divine intervention will bring about an era of redemption wherein a Jewish sovereign state can be established. In addition to this theological reasoning, some anti-Zionist Jews denounce the secular nature of modern Israel as they see it in contradiction with traditional Jewish law that guides every aspect of life based on biblical texts. These individuals argue that a Jewish state founded on secular principles runs counter to their religious beliefs and interpretations. Others within the anti-Zionist camp raise concerns over ethical considerations and political implications involved in Israel's founding. They critique actions such as land expropriation and treatment of Palestinian residents, viewing these issues as incompatible with Jewish values espoused in traditional texts advocating for peace, justice, and compassion. This ongoing debate about Zionism and anti-Zionism is not merely a political issue. It is a deeply religious one for many Jews. However, it is also critical to remember that the Jewish community is incredibly diverse and that not all anti-Zionist Jews base their views on religious arguments. Similarly, pro-Zionist Jews come from different ideological backgrounds, both religious and secular. In conclusion, the Jewish inner battle over Zionism and anti-Zionism is rooted in varying interpretations of traditional texts and differing opinions on the role of faith in creating and sustaining a Jewish state. As we continue to witness these debates unfold, it is essential to engage in respectful dialogue that seeks understanding rather than sowing division amongst the already diverse Jewish community. If you liked this video, please click the like button below and consider subscribing to our channel. Until next time, stay sharp.